The Crusades were a series of religious wars. They took place between the 11th and 13th centuries. European Christians launched these wars. Their main goal was to reclaim Jerusalem. Jerusalem held deep religious significance for Christians. It was considered the Holy Land. Muslims had controlled Jerusalem since the 7th century. Christian pilgrims faced increasing difficulties reaching the city. This fueled anger and resentment in Europe. Pope Urban II issued a call to arms. He did this at the Council of Clermont in 1095. This marked the beginning of the First Crusade. The Pope promised forgiveness of sins for those who fought. He presented the Crusades as a path to salvation. The Crusades were seen as a holy mission. They aimed to reclaim Jerusalem for Christendom. The Pope's authority was paramount. He had the power to call for these holy wars. This highlights the immense power of the Church during the Middle Ages. The promise of spiritual rewards motivated many to join the Crusades. While religion was a major factor, other forces were also at play. The Crusades were not just about reclaiming holy sites. They were also driven by political and social ambitions. European rulers saw an opportunity. They could expand their territories and influence. The feudal system in Europe played a role. Many knights and nobles were seeking land and wealth. Overpopulation was a problem. The Crusades offered a solution. They could seek their fortunes in the east. The Byzantine Empire was under threat from the Seljuk Turks. They appealed to the west for help. This further fueled the Crusades. The Crusades became intertwined with political struggles. Ambition and the desire for power influenced many leaders. The Crusades offered a chance for social advancement. Knights could gain land, titles, and wealth. The Crusades were marked by several key campaigns. The First Crusade, from 1096 to 1099, was the most successful for the Crusaders. It resulted in the capture of Jerusalem. They established Crusader states in the Levant. One example was the Kingdom of Jerusalem. The Second Crusade, from 1147 to 1149, was a failure. The Crusaders were defeated in their attempt to attack Damascus. The Third Crusade, from 1189 to 1192, saw famous figures like Richard the Lionheart. They clashed with the Muslim leader Saladin. Saladin had recaptured Jerusalem in 1187. The Crusaders failed to retake Jerusalem but secured some coastal cities. The Fourth Crusade, from 1202 to 1204, took a shocking turn. Crusaders sacked Constantinople. This was a Christian city. This act weakened the Byzantine Empire. There were also smaller crusades. These included campaigns in Spain and Northern Europe. The Crusades were a complex and tumultuous period. They involved a series of victories and defeats. The capture and loss of Jerusalem highlight the back-and-forth nature of these conflicts. The Crusades had a profound impact on Europe and the Middle East. For Christianity, the Crusades initially increased the papacy's influence. New ideas and institutions emerged. These included military orders like the Templars and Hospitallers. However, the later failures of the Crusades contributed to the decline of papal authority. The Crusades also increased trade and cultural exchange between East and West. For Muslims, the Crusades were seen as foreign invasions. They left a legacy of resentment. However, they also led to a greater sense of unity within Islam. Figures like Saladin emerged as heroes. The Crusades had a lasting impact on relations between the Christian West and the Islamic East. The Crusades stimulated trade and the growth of cities. They introduced new goods and ideas to Europe. This contributed to the cultural and economic changes of the Renaissance. The Crusades also left behind a complex legacy of violence and conquest. They serve as a reminder of the dangers of religious extremism.